The London School of Economics and Political Science has an international reputation for turning out students who go on to achieve extraordinary things all over the world. It's always believed that young people should have access to higher education, regardless of their backgrounds.
The LSE believes that university should be for everyone, but not everyone has the same advantages.
Children from less privileged backgrounds are more likely to settle for less when it comes to education. So LSE has introduced a range of programmes designed to broaden their horizons well before they reach school leaving age.
One of its most successful programmes is LSE Choice, which is aimed at giving young people the confidence and the skills they'll need to apply to LSE and to other Russell Group universities.
Emma Dyer was born in southwest London. Like many first-year students at LSE, it was the Choice programme that inspired her to apply.
Mum and Dad didn't go to university. I don't think I ever wanted to go to work at 18. I didn't even really know about the LSE until I was at school one day and my maths teacher was like, oh, there's this programme and it's to help you with your A-levels.
I met somebody from LSE who was in the widening participation scheme. So when I came back to school, I had 3 students who were very able and offered them the opportunity to apply.
After researching about it on the internet, and my dad was like, oh, I've heard of that, that's really good. And then from there I sort of learned how good the LSE was, and then it became my first choice pretty much.
Lucky. University had always been an ambition, and LSE Choice simply gave her the confidence and the skills she'd need for a successful application.
But for many young people, just the idea that university could be an option often seems absurd.
The top universities that demand really, really high grades for people to get in, they have a tendency to end up taking a very high proportion of middle-class, fairly wealthy background people who have gone to either selective state schools or high-performing state schools or private schools.
Mazida Khatun had none of these advantages.
I was born in London. My parents are Bangladeshi, and we're pretty much a working-class family. My dad was a cook, my mum's a housewife. We were never particularly academic because it's just not seen as a priority in my section of the community. There's more emphasis on just going out and getting a job.
Under those circumstances, there tends to be just a general expectation that we're not the kind of people who go to university. Therefore, even though you might have the intellectual ability to go and thrive at university, you don't think to apply.
It was for just these young people that the Choice programme was designed.
My politics teacher asked me if I wanted to do this Choice programme. It was for those who were at state school, whose parents hadn't gone to university. And I'd heard of LSE when I was about 16, and I was just really, really chuffed. I was so excited. I wanted to do it.
Every Saturday morning for 16 weeks, LSE Choice students leave their school classrooms behind and come here to the London School of Economics and Political Science.
They get individual subject sessions designed to reinforce their A-level work and provide an all-important intellectual bridge between school and top-level university studies. And they get advice and guidance on applying to university.
It taught me a lot about the LSE. The man who taught it is actually my lecturer now. He's my maths lecturer, which obviously I didn't know at the time, but I sort of got an understanding of what the teaching was like at LSE. It was a lot harder than A-level, than material was.
But as Emma's determination to win a place at LSE grew, she suddenly discovered a problem that threatened to dash all of her hopes.
We went to a sort of university fair at Earl's Court with my school, and there was all these representatives from all the universities. And I went to LSE and I told them my A-level subjects, and they were like, oh, we won't accept you. You haven't got 2 traditional subjects. Because I was doing further maths only as an AS level, not as the full A level. So I went back to school and said, Miss, I want to up this to the full A level.
For Emma's teachers, this last-minute request posed a whole new challenge.
We had to provide the teaching time for 3 extra modules. And my deputy and I were really very keen to do it, obviously to help the students, but because we love maths, we wanted them to have the experience as well. So we sat down and looked at the timetable and had a few adjustments and managed to get the time to give them the extra lessons each week.
Miss Coffee really sort of went out of her way, had lots of extra lessons, extra work, and obviously she had to put in extra teaching hours.
I think we were teaching modules where, although we'd obviously done the mathematics before, we hadn't taught it before. We found it quite exhilarating as well to be going back and doing maths that we'd left behind some years ago.
Miss Coffee was the only one that taught S3, the third statistics module, and in the end we had classes just the two of us, so she helped me a lot.
We recognised as soon as she came into Year 12 that she was a very able student, a very, very hard-working student who was determined to succeed, and she's shown that she can.
This level of engagement between secondary schools and LSE is at the heart of the Choice programme. For Emma, Mazida and their friends, it's meant the chance to study at one of the world's most renowned universities.
I learned to think in a different way, a way that's not so prescriptive and it's not taken from a textbook. You're allowed to have your own opinions. At Choice, the sort of mantra was to think outside the box, and they made you do that, and I think we all benefited from that, especially those of us that have come to LSE.
It can open up a lot of opportunities especially in terms of if you're debating on whether or not to go to university or onto higher education. It really can give you more information as to what your options are.
LSE Choice is just a win-win situation. It's completely free, and you have an amazing insight to how university life works and what's expected of you. It's an amazing transition.
So yeah, definitely get involved.